Good Saturday morning, everybody. Chris and Tiffany here with High Seas Cruising, and welcome to this week's episode of What Every Cruiser Wants, where we have real cruise comments for you. People that are rude, people that are entitled, people that have just asked everybody out there. Are you ready for comments?
Yes.
Well, I'm ready too, so let's jump in and get started with our first comment. Chocolates on your pillow. That's what some people want. Do you want chocolates on your pillow on a cruise?
It's nice, but, it's not a necessity.
Well, this person, they want chocolate on their pillow, and they are willing to raise your cruise price to get chocolate on their pillow. Hey, a poll on our Facebook VIP page have voted to bring back the chocolates on the pillows. Raise the cost of the cruise by $10. These are the things that separate a cruise from a low-line hotel. 270 votes for yes, and only 11 said no. So I guess they took a little poll. The majority of the people on their poll said yes. Please raise my cruise by $10 for a chocolate on the pillow, because it's a chocolate on the pillow that separates a cruise line from a low budget type of hotel, from your Motel 6. Now, it's not the buffets. It's not the shows. It's not the entertainment. It's not the fact it travels and takes you all kinds of places. No, that's not what separates a cruise from a low-lying hotel. It's a chocolate on the pillow. But they did a survey, so they must be right. Right?
Yeah.
Well, actually, I don't know, because guess what? There was another survey done. So over on John Hill's Facebook page, he also did a survey wanting to know if people wanted the chocolates back. Are they willing to have their cruise raised by $10? Now, apparently, when they took all these chocolates away, that saved the cruise line $2 million. And that's actually the money they used to put Guy's Burgers on cruise ships. At least according to what John said. All right? But he did his own survey. So let's take a look. 1.3 thousand people voted. And you can clearly see from the survey right here that, I don't know, looks like the majority of people there said no.
I'd rather have the Guy's Burgers.
I'd rather not have my cruise go up by $10. There's enough stuff going up on cruises. New fees, new taxes, prices of everything going up, drinks, Wi-Fi, all of it. Do we really need to raise it by $10 for a chocolate? You know what? Here's a real easy solution.
Take your own.
There you go. You go to the store. You buy yourself a box of chocolates. Each night you take one out of the box and place it on your pillow and go, ooh, look at me, I'm better than a Motel 6. But let's throw it over to you guys. What do y'all think? Do you want your cruise raised by $10 so you can have a chocolate on your pillow? And will that chocolate make you feel like you're on a cruise instead of a hotel? Now we're going to talk about buffets and whether or not the buffet should be self-service the way it is now. You go up there, you get your own food, fill your own plate, go sit down and eat your food, or whether or not it should be served by crew members. We did cruise during the pandemic when there was still a lot of the COVID restrictions on the ship, and we went on a couple cruises where the crew members served at the buffet. It was kind of nice.
Yeah.
I liked having the crew members serve. I liked knowing that people couldn't put their dirty little grubby hands all up in my food, because don't you like it when someone, licks their fingers and touches the rolls and then puts them back?
That's just gross.
You don't want to eat that roll?
No.
Okay, well, neither does anybody else. The truth of this matter is look, cruise lines, they don't have the personnel to do that. Yes, they could do it during COVID restrictions when they were sailing at a much lower capacity, less passengers. They just don't have the personnel for crew-served buffets. But you know what? That still doesn't stop people from writing in comments. And of course, if you got to write in a comment, you got to throw some insults and some rudeness in just to get your point across. We are talking on our roll call page about the buffets. We are curious as to the current situation regarding buffet service. I am surprised that Carnival Cruise Lines stopped self-service. I would imagine that you would save a fortune on wasted foods when those who like you, John, with eyes wider than their obese bellies. It would be best for everyone, Carnival and the passengers, if everyone was prohibited from piling up their plates only to leave a large portion of it uneaten. That coupled with the reduced potential for noro and COVID being passed on through unwashed hands, it seems a bit odd that you haven't stopped self-service. Everyone says the same. Why ignore this? So obviously they prefer crew serve buffets versus self-service buffets, and they have a couple valid points. Yes, there is a less potential chance of norovirus and COVID spread if the crew serves it, because we all know not every passenger properly washes their hands. Yes, there is food waste on buffets from people whose eyes are bigger than their appetites. That much is true. We have seen people throwing away food. They've piled way too much on their plate. They know they can't eat it. All of that is true. But why? When you simply want it switched back over, or you're curious about why it's not switched back over to crew, do you have to throw in there, but your eyes are big, and by the way, John, you're fat. You're obese. That's why you don't want to change it. Why be rude?
There's no point in it. There's really no point.
Right, because you're never going to get your point across. And of course, it must end with the everyone says the same. Do you think everyone agrees with them?
No.
Well, you would be right. And guess what? There's another poll to show how wrong this person was. And here we have the poll where John put on there. Let's see what you think we should do in 2024. You could keep it self-service. It should be served whenever possible. Or I never eat at the Lido buffet, so not really bothered. 5,000 votes. You can clearly see on here, keep it self-service. While some people did vote for it should be served, that is not everyone. So there's an actual poll right there where apparently everyone does not feel the same way. Like I said, you got to get an insult in there. You got to say everyone agrees with me. Everyone thinks the same way I think. But guess what? The proof is not in the pudding.
No.
Not everyone agrees with these people. Yet they still write it in. They still say it. They still believe it. But what do you guys think? Do you think the cruise line should either be self-service the way it is now, you get your own food, or would you prefer it that the crew serve? I'd say there's an argument for both. But of course we don't have to be rude, we don't have to be insulting, and we don't have to say that everyone agrees with it. Important days in U.S. history. That's what we're actually going to talk about next. There's a lot of things that are very important. Important days, important moments of history to those of us that live here in the United States. This past Thursday is a great example of that. December the 7th, Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day. Very important here in the United States. Okay, but I'd like to point out this is something that is important to the United States. And I do think that there are people in this country who honestly think that they are, or we are as a country, the absolute center of the universe. That if it's important here, it must be absolutely important everywhere around the world. I don't want anybody to get the impression I'm taking anything away from these important dates, because that's not what I'm trying to do. But you have to remember, just because it's important here in the U.S. doesn't make it important everywhere in the world. A perfect example. No shortage of hot air from you, John Heald, but when it comes to remembering Pearl Harbor, there is only silence. My grandfather was aboard USS Pennsylvania. All of this talk on how much you support the veterans is proving to be BS today.
John's not even American.
Correct. And that's the very first thing that catches my attention with this. They're not talking about Carnival didn't say anything. They're not talking about a corporation didn't say anything. They're talking about an individual, one man who is not a resident of the United States, does not live in the United States, is from UK. Which is why I say, yes, Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day is important to Americans. But it's not a day over in Great Britain. Just like Thanksgiving is an American day. It's not a holiday in other places around the world. 4th of July, not a holiday in other places around the world. These are American-specific things. So to say that Carnival doesn't care about veterans, I mean, do you think Carnival doesn't care about veterans?
Oh, I think they totally care.
They have the Veterans Gathering on every cruise. They give away a free cruise every month to a veteran that attends one of those gatherings.
I didn't know that.
So no, I don't believe that they don't care about veterans. I don't believe that John Heald doesn't care about veterans. But I do believe that you are talking about an individual living in the UK who can't possibly know every single thing that's important to every single person in every single country. And because of that, you have to write in a nasty comment and say, you obviously don't care and you're just full of BS. Which is kind of where I get the impression, because it was targeted specifically at a man that's not from this country, of why I think, do you honestly believe that you or things that happen in this country are the absolute center of the universe? My question to this person would be, can you tell me what all of the important remembrance days are for all of the other countries out there? Because apparently you expect it from one individual, but are you capable of doing it yourself? That would be my question.
Yes, that's a good question.
Let's throw it over there to you guys. Do you think that John Heald, the brand ambassador from Carnival Cruise Lines, should remember, mention, and know every single thing out there? Do you think that they really just, give lip service to veterans, or do they really care? Or does this person out there just need to realize that, guess what? He's not the center of the universe. And that's going to be our video today for what every cruiser wants. I hope you have enjoyed today's video. If you have, do me a favor and hit that like button. If you haven't done so yet, do me a favor and hit subscribe. It is free to do so. Helps our channel grow. Let you know anytime we put out a new video. Hope everyone out there is having a really great day and a really great weekend. And like always,
We'll see you out on the high seas.